G'day friends and fans, welcome to Dave Talk Stuff, Ukraine War Update for the 24th of April 2026. I'm your host, the author, David Applegate. Now before we go into the news, we'll look around the map, shall we? There's been only small changes. Now Russian aviation has hit Zaporozhye hard. Actually, the majority of explosions, however, what we do have reported is 155 airstrikes over the last 24 hours, allegedly 139 intercepts. We have attacks on energy infrastructure and transport infrastructure in Dnipro. Attack on, I think it was railway up here, the railway line to Kiev. Down here again, I think it's the usual targets, oil and fuel supplies. Kharkiv, I guess they've shifted a lot of their drone communication hubs. The communication hubs. I believe that's why Poltava was attacked the other day, was communications. Now we have only a little bit of movement up here in the north. We have activity in Kupiansk, but no change. It looks like there's change, but according to the Ukrainians, there's no change. It's the same here. There's a lot of activity, no movement on the Seversk front either, or Chevashar, or Koskozdya. In fact, even the little bit here in Roddy's insignificant. Been nothing reported here for a while. But Roddy, yeah, activity. This actually is in the wrong place. It's over here. There is activity and fighting on the Provost front, but it's not way back here. And this is, well, the Russians have taken the town on the north side, right? But this fighting marker is here at the bridge, actually, which is weird because you think the Russians will go around, but the Russians are here, and the Russians, they're sitting on the base here, I believe, and they're in the fields, but that's it. Now, in the fields, they've been creeping forward here, but that seems to have stopped. Same here, they've crept forward here, but then stopped. Here and there they've crept forward and then stopped. I guess it's a matter of supply lines and needing that road access cleared. That was probably about it. But for now, let's see. We don't have, we have a little bit of movement down here, but that's about it. We have a little bit of movement down here. Possible that they're going to be pushing more here in a southern direction. Possible build up for a two-pronged attack here. Russia has reported Ukrainians taking losses in this area, but there seems to be no markers other than, yeah. So they say these are not actually necessary points of contact, but the rough area of artillery being fired. Again, Russian aviation wouldn't have conducted a airstrike here. For some reason, it's not here. And this is here. Russia's made a little bit of push in this area. Russian aviation has hit bunkers at the Zhenizhi. They've attacked from the south as well. Probably they've fired artillery. Now Russian aviation has fired a lot of glide bombs and been a lot of fighting and Ukrainian counterattack. Russians hit Okolov. Now there is a push here, but it seems to have halted. And there was actually activity at Kherson, mostly cross-river artillery. Most of this area, of course, is too open. Now, recently assessment was and still is the same. Ukraine spent 11 years building up this fortress at the cost of $6 billion or something, and another billion or two along here. But if these two lines break completely, because as it says, initially, they expected for some reason the Russians to come through the same way as they did in World War II. Most of the bunkers Ukraine put together, right, were on the same roads, the same defensive fire roads that were put in, all the way back to the Russian Empire, back roads used to go around Napoleon's positions further north. That's how old some of these roads are in their positioning. Now, Ukraine did build up multiple defensive lines. And this is why eventually Russia invaded. They see them building fortresses in the east. They see them building tanks and artillery and building tank traps and tank bunkers in the east facing Russia. And they're supposed to be allies. What did so European Security Council. So in the early 2000s, European security cooperation with Russia was all a guise for war is peace, my brother. War is peace. Now, Russian drone broke through a building completely. We do not have we do not know if these drone strikes. Yes, it was railway infrastructure. Drone strikes were deliberate, or because the drone was jammed and just kept and flew into the building. Yeah, Lyman, Kupiansk, Pavosk, Kramatorsk. Let's see. Gansevesk. But then, Russian aviation strikes. No, long list. Yeah. Why Hulipol? It doesn't make sense. I would suggest, they don't want... They purposely mislead the public so that if there's any... So, if a whistleblower, say there's 200 channels reporting on that it was Hulipol, and someone says that it was Veskok, or someone, or it was really just Venenko. Was 2 days ago when and the Hulipol strike, that they're reporting is actually 6 months old. But they know they've got a leaker, okay? These are secure. This is what the British did all the way back to World War II. Lie, mislead, on purpose, so that they could withhold the truth. Why? Well, we withhold the truth so that if someone tells the truth, we can arrest them. And it's like, you're criminalising the truth. Right? Eventually, we'll find out. Okay, maybe 10, 20, 30 years. Oh, but it won't help the Russians. Russia does not need help. They're not going to sit down and pour over every target and go, oh, dude, we killed Jimmy Smith here. Oh, that's a big double tick in our box. You know? They know, okay, roughly, the foreign advisors, that's right, they're targeting foreign advisors and foreign mercenaries in Zaporizhia with aerial attacks on the rear. Komotsokovia, they're attacking the network of bunkers. They know there's the bunkers and tunnels all through Komotsokovia. And the Ukrainians have left surprise packages, aka technological terrors. These are basically the size of a hand grenade, but they instead of a timer to the primer, they have a trimmer. So mine clearers, they're targeting the mine clearers, they're targeting the patrols. You know, these are anti-personnel mines. You know, some do still have old-style trip mines to them. Now there's I think it's 10 years old now. There was a show, Future Weapons, and they showed, right, the technological landmines. Drones the size of a RC car going and being airdropped, right? And what they'd do is they'd hide, their parachute would be camouflage, right? And they'd hide under their parachute. And then when a tank or people come out, start coming, they'd come out and explode. You know, explode under a tank, explode under, or explode amongst troops. So, and again, there's also the possibility Russia merely wants to cut through. Sure, they've claimed all of this territory. But at the same time, the big push, which should have pushed through here in half the time, hasn't had the manpower. Most of Russia's manpower is in operational security, in air defences and everything, and drones. It's a different war. There's less weapons to evolve in. You know, once the Germans lost their air force, they were powerless, whereas Ukraine, without its air force, is still as effective as it is if it's like the air force really didn't make that much of a difference to the Ukrainian army. And that's because air power is shifting. Well, Russia's realised the shift in air power, and while it maintains its long-range anti-missile and anti-aircraft and strategic bomber systems like the S-300 all the way through the S-550A and B, with the S-600 possibly beginning development. Those are for like B-52s, what's the other one? B-1s, and they are trying to upgrade them to deal with B-2s. But to deal with, your F-16s, even A-10s, helicopters and drones, you have the Tor, the Panzer, and the Terminator. Now, the Panzer recently got a new radar. Pretty much the same. Any of the upgrades that went into the Tor system is going into the Terminator and the Panzer. And they are targeting drones up to 30 kilometers away. They're able to fire missiles. These are the new 122mm. Though there is talk of a 107mm rocket. Those are mounted on like your Toyota. And this is there's the 35mm. Those are programmable airburst up to 4 kilometers. It's pretty reasonable. Now, one of the things they're trying to do is target drones, target bombs, target aircraft. It's increasingly difficult to target, but both sides heavily using glide bombs. Russia realizes that anything they can develop, the West will too. Okay, there's no technological advantage right now for either side. Particularly with Ukrainian drones. Ukrainians have made more than 3,000 intercepts, but they have also launched more than 3,000 drones. They've launched pretty much. They have no technological advantage. Though they keep claiming one. Russia has successfully attacked Ukraine with Iskander ballistic missiles. Only 2. You compare that to how many bombs America dropped on Iran. Right? The volume, the difference in volume is significant. It's in multipliers. 100. Here we're talking about 2 hits by 2 ballistic missiles and 10 UAVs. Whereas the last bombing run the US did was thousands. Yeah. And you had, 6 ships launching half a dozen missiles each. So, regardless of which side you're on, Ukraine has a problem. And it's finally been addressed. And that is its inhumane treatment of its own soldiers. And the commanders of 2 brigades, of a brigade and an army corps, have been dismissed for inadequate food and water to their men. You know what they deserve. Yeah. Emaciated troops, early aging of troops has been noted for a while now. Some, regular shortage of food and water, which they blame on the Russians blowing up supply lines. Yet there was no evidence of this. And eventually, someone high up had taken notice, finally. Which begs the question, if these men are so obviously emaciated, did Zelensky really visit the front? No. This is more evidence that most of what he claims and does is staged. The Ukrainian leadership is out of touch with realities on the ground. Yeah, don't see. Sometimes in the news they admit it, that it's actually drone debris, that it's the debris. What goes up comes down. over 190 clashes. There is going to be a summit involving Putin at the G20. Here they only admit to 96 down. This could also be one of the discrepancies. Is sometimes the timing. So perhaps that's just the evening. Who knows? They just don't seem to be on the same page every day, you know. Now, Demirsk seen an uptake in attacks. Yeah. And yeah. Now, these aren't battles today, though. These are weekly reports over the previous week. So, in this area, over the previous week, have inflicted an increase in casualties on the Ukrainians compared to other areas. Now, isn't this amazing? Hungary agrees to the assistance package to Zelensky. See? Hungary lifts the veto. EU immediately approves the 19 billion. And immediately the oil flows in the Jupiter pipeline. So don't tell me Viktor Orban lost the election. No, the people of Hungary were blackmailed into voting against Viktor Orban to lower the price of fuel. Yeah. The US is still working to resolve the conflict. This is just the G20 summit in Miami. But they haven't confirmed whether or not the Kremlin said it may attend, but they are working on security issues. What are those security issues? Well, Zelensky's, as you saw with the attacks on President Trump, those threats against Trump are the same threats against any Russian official in the United States. It's also the same threats against Witkoff and Kushner. And yeah, it'll be extending the same threats again. That's why they meant Alaska, because these soft liberals are very unlikely to travel to Alaska to then find out that the Alaskan air base is so big, it'll take a day for them just to walk up to get in range of Putin. And by then, they will have been gunned down many times over. So, Miami is a different situation. But my guess is that these will be envoys, that Putin will probably come to one of the other alternative venues for the G20 and meet with Trump, or even just get on Air Force One with Trump. No one's certain terms do I see Putin on other than maybe in an armoured convoy, the same way Trump does, showing up at a predictable location with too many rooftops, unless every single rooftop is sealed off. And even then, you got quite the challenge, but America has proven that most of the time it can foil assassination plots. And Russia's foiled an assassination plot on a member of parliament. one of the issues, of course, why they want to meet urgency with Russia is that Russia will be the one doing the rebuilding in Iran. Well, is trying to. So is China. And I think there's a increasingly hostile situation growing between Russia and China. While they, on the surface, talking about cooperation, I don't see cooperation from China. I see China trying to underbid and take as many jobs off everyone else as they can. I see China increasingly wanting to expand its reach well beyond its borders and immediate sphere of influence to global reach. And as they said, to challenge US hegemony. But increasingly, it's all about the money. Come on. Power, prestige. The only way one economy can grow now is to destroy another. And they're going to say that about the United States attacking Iran, but they never say that about Chinese pushing US contractors out of Nigeria, for instance, where the attacks go unpunished by Obama for his entire term by Boko Haram. So, so Iranian-backed militants across the Middle East wreaking havoc, and Obama says, I'm the greatest statesman ever. I brought peace to the Middle East. Yeah, no, he just brought censorship to the war in the Middle East. And this is the danger of not ending conflicts early, is that the casualties aren't worth the reward, even if you do win. Right? Ukraine could have had a non-win, but they want to win, and that's why Ukraine is destroying itself. They'd rather die than lose. Well, no one's going to miss you. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. No, I mean it. Liberals won't. When the light goes out in Ukraine, they're not going to care anymore. They're just going to. All they care about, there's no truth but power, right? So thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please support the channel. You support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, buy my books, buy my merch. All my links are in the link tree, description below, in my profile. I appreciate each and every one of you. See you in the next video. Bye for now.